Good evening, anyone, everyone. It is day 33. Donald Trump, you are fired. And, yeah, we're a third of the way through this. And, I think I gotta step it up a notch. A friend was talking to me today about TikTok, and I gotta start posting reels on Instagram now the next 33 days and making phone calls. I saw a woman today had called up Mitch McConnell's office and filmed it. I don't have two phones, so it'd be a little hard to do that, but I could record it on here. That I could do. So, and just flat out ask, like, do you think that you're all gonna go to prison? If you're on Threads, you can find my profile. It's the Rhodes Unlimited. It's the same as Instagram. And then Rhodes, like Rhodes Scholar, or Colossus at Rhodes, RHODES, Unlimited, all one word, no punctuation. The Rhodes Unlimited. I just reposted it on Threads, and really helped me because I needed to see that. It really got to me today. It's hard to fight a two-front war, and I know everyone is literally feeling the heat right now. Like the world is cooking. It's really interesting. I just found out last night that November 17th, 2023 was like the hottest day on record at that time. Well, that's really interesting because that was the day that I let the real estate companies know on email that I was going after them because of what had happened. Really messed me up. It was really twisted what happened. And all I had asked was just to be treated with decency and respect and have my privacy and the wishes of myself and the owner of the property be respected. And that was too much for them. And it tipped over a domino that led to a major destructive influence in my life. And the law recognizes something called proximate cause. If a company's secretary is asked to look at accounts or something, or a company accountant is asked to look at accounts and find something they don't understand and goes to the boss, for instance, and says, I don't know what this is, but what is this? And then it's something that the boss shouldn't have been doing with the company card or something like that, company account. There's embezzlement or something like that happening, and then the secretary or the accountant gets fired all of a sudden, winds up at the bar, drinks too much, and then gets in a bad car accident on the way home. Well, the law recognizes that but for is the language, but for the behavior of that executive or whoever it was, that incident and the damages that resulted in that person's life would not have likely happened. So that person is culpable. Tomorrow is 2 years since I filed this big case. And I got sick with stress today. I felt like I was gonna throw up. I had to leave work after like a half day. And then I got home, and shortly after I got home, I actually got an email from one of the attorneys that finally now, I don't know if they realized the timing, and so I went and checked my post office box and did have a letter from the court that once all initial responsive pleadings have been filed, like they always try to throw the case out, motion to dismiss, and it took 18 months for the court to rule on this. You see, this is why this is a big problem, is people like Donald Trump know that it could just kind of run amok, and maybe eventually, you know, and they'll appeal it, and then it's another year, and then it's another year here, and then they'll ask the Supreme Court that he's got in his pocket to do this and this. And maybe he'll get pinned down eventually, like he did with the E. Jean Carroll thing. Bless that poor woman's heart, what she's been through. But it's empowering bullies among us, like this one jerk of a real estate agent. And I've said his name before. His name is Dave Janis. I'm not going to pull punches in this. I can't, because of the way I filed this or whatever. He may be able to slither out from under this, but I can express my opinion. I mean, there's others that are not. I can express my opinion that he's one of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. And that you should not sell your house or buy a house with Coldwell Banker or Compass Real Estate Company. They're too big. They don't care. 2 years. And it's also really interesting, I didn't realize until after I filed it, that August 6th is the day we bombed Hiroshima, and I lived in Hiroshima when I was 16 for a year. So tomorrow is 81 years. 81 years since we bombed Hiroshima, Japan. We hit them with an atomic bomb. And we killed a lot of people that day. Around 100,000 people instantly, in seconds. And then apparently 3 days later, we did it again to a non-military target, not Nagasaki. There's purportedly only like 150 soldiers in Nagasaki and like 80 or 90,000 civilians. But Hiroshima was a military target. There were quite a lot of soldiers there. So, but guys, I want to talk tonight. I mean, I'm, you know, sort of splicing together purposes for this channel here. Because I do get sick with stress. 2 years ago tomorrow, and even on November 17th, when I let these real estate, in 2023, I let these real estate agents know, I'm not ashamed to admit that I was having issues with going to with the bathroom. I mean, it's maybe TMI a little bit, but I'm rendered incontinent if this gets pushed too far. Like I have to change clothes. If you ever been around like an animal or something that's been abused and it's harshly treated, or if someone yells at it or something like that, and like you can see like, you know, a dog will like, you know, pee the floor or something like that, like if it's scared, like you understand the amount of stress has to be heaped on a human being for that to happen involuntarily. And strange, it was the hottest day on record, and I was like, the whole earth was like incensed, like I was like outraged, you know, just like burning. It's really interesting to me. So at the end of 2 years, start of the third year tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I was up 2 years ago right now all night. I was heavily self-medicated just to get myself to finish it. I had smashed my toe in a door of a storage unit a week before wearing flip-flops. The wind caught this metal door and smashed it into my left big toe, and it was the most painful injury I've had below the belt in my life. And I lost the big toenail over it. But so I had my foot elevated, and I was trying to type this thing and finish it and get it into court on the very last day to make a statute of limitations, and I got it in like half an hour before the deadline. So yeah, I was beside myself with stress, and if I get stressed out enough, I will I lose my appetite. I haven't had hardly anything to eat today. I had a cinnamon roll in the morning, which probably didn't help. And then I start feeling nauseous. So like, you know, when I've been doing this in the past, not now, so I'm protesting. I'm not having anything to do with even a drop of alcohol right now. But in the past, I like, you know, smoking marijuana, which is legal where I live, would take the edge off the nausea. Drinking alcohol to calm down my nervous system at night. It wasn't reckless. It wasn't like I was shotgunning beers and taking shots of hard liquor. It was just, I couldn't function, I had to regulate myself. So this is really hard. Like I've got to go here in a minute and cook. It's like almost, you know, it's getting late in the day. But what I want to talk about briefly tonight. This is 10 minutes right this second. Jeez. I want to try to keep these a little shorter. I'm really trying, but I want to talk about Star Wars again. It's the best go-to advice I've ever received and that I pass on to people comes from early in Star Wars. And it's, and we won't spoil the plot, but Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi are having their first kind of real talk at his home. They've, they've sought shelter, and they discover a message from someone important. They don't realize how important this person is. Nobody realizes it for a while in the story. But asking Obi-Wan, who used to be, the Jedi Knight, to help again. He's been kind of in hiding, in exile. And he sits back after he sees this message, and he looks at Luke and he says, "You must learn the ways of the Force if you're to come with me to Alderaan." And Luke immediately says, and this is at 35 minutes in the film, just about 35 minutes in the first Star Wars film, Episode 4, A New Hope, if you want to watch and check it out. He says, "Alderaan, I can't go to Alderaan. I've got the harvest. I've got all these things I have to do here. I've got work to do." And then Obi-Wan says something like, "I'm getting too old for this. I need your help." Luke's like, "It's not like I like the Empire. I hate it, but I can't get involved." And then he says, "It seems all so far away." And Obi-Wan says, "That's your uncle talking." His uncle is a farmer. And then Luke says, "Well, look, I can't. I can take you as far as this place you can get a ride to spaceport." And then the best advice I've ever heard in a nutshell, Obi-Wan understands, he says, does he say it later, or is it, maybe it's Yoda in Empire, says, "A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack." That might be Yoda, actually. He doesn't try to force him. He sits back and he crosses his arms and he says, "You must do what you feel is right, of course." And then, without spoiling anything, again, he's just, because of him letting things happen, Luke, naturally, there are some developments in his personal life suddenly. And Luke comes to him finally after some difficult developments are revealed, and he says, "I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father." And Obi-Wan could have stopped Luke. He runs off for one reason, and then he could have stopped him and shut his car down, and he could have force crushed the engine. He doesn't do that. He he calls after him. It's dangerous. But he doesn't stop him. And what he wants to happen happens through him surrendering to the good flow of events around him. But what I want to say to you tonight is, if you're thinking, "I can't get involved, I have this, I have responsibilities," I want to say, with respect, you are involved. You were born here, or maybe you weren't, but you're here. Our world is cooking like a rotisserie chicken right now. I had a long conversation with my oldest friend today because I was struggling today. I really am. I was hurting bad. I mean, it's just awful to feel sick with stress. I remember I had some major tragedy in my early life. I lost a parent, and for about 3 years after that, I was so stressed out fighting a two-front war in Catholic school, getting viciously picked on. It was like one of the only artists in a football town in the east part of this country. And I actually spent a long time as a child. I can barely remember anything from age 11 to 16. It was such a traumatic time, but I have almost no memories, but I can remember thinking for a while that milk and cereal was making me sick. Maybe I had the lactose intolerance, but really it was stress. Just like 2 years ago today, I was struggling with, normal digestive function because of the stress. Even at that age of 12, 13, I was in the bathroom like almost every day, sick to my stomach in middle school. And there's a little bit of a kind of a two-front war thing happening today, and it took me right back there. Felt sick. Felt like I was going to start crying because I was just like, I am so tired of being mistreated, but everyone's feeling it. Everyone's hurting, and not everybody's able to keep from lashing out in some ways. And even little ways, little things. It's like, oh man, I'm trying so hard here to be kind and taking so much on the chin. I just need a little gentleness here. It's hard for me to be this sensitive. You don't walk around right now, hear anybody saying, I wish I was more sensitive. Most people, I think, are trying to numb it out in some ways to feel less, not more. I had a hard time being this sensitive for most of my life, but it's rough. It's really rough to have to take all this on the chin. It makes me physically sick. I have like health problems from it, and I'm covered in little red spots. It looks like somebody flicked blood on me because I've got herniated blood vessels all over me now. I had a couple, I know what they are because I had like one on my arm when I was growing up, and I had like one or two here, but now I'm like got them all over. I've had taken videos of this as I was working on that case. It's like I'm exploding with stress from inside out. It's horrible, Nobody should have to live through stuff like this just to have a little justice. And then last Friday, I found out I have to go back to the drawing board and basically start all over again with a new situation. It's not as much on the line. This is a lot, this big case. This really, really screwed things up for me. Maybe permanently. Permanently in some cases. I have lost an uncle who helped me out during COVID. I can never pay him back now. He helped me get back across the country as everything had gone kind of belly up. And I was fighting Uber, and I had spent almost everything I had on fighting Uber. It was like almost tearing my hair out over it. My hair didn't fall out yet. It fell out during this case, but kind of. I just can't grow it long up here anymore. It's not bald, but it's just not the same. I like having long hair, but anyway, I don't want this to go too long. I just, even if all you can do is just one thing, like just repost something or take a little time. I was gonna say, in order for me to, it took me a while till I was about 30 years old to learn how to live a happy, healthy, sober life. Like a lot of people, I had to knock myself out for a while. I had insomnia for like 20 years. It was very hard for me to sleep. I didn't have to take a nap today, partly because it cooled off and I could sleep last night. But with the heat, it's exacerbating things, making things worse, harder. But I have to spend between 3 and 5 hours a day doing yoga, meditation, go to the gym 3 days a week at least, and I haven't been able to sustain that lately. I'm working on it. I am. I'm trying. But with all this and filming and stuff and everything going on, and it's a lot of sorrow, and there's also a lot of joy in my personal life. I have a lot of strong feelings right now, and some of them are very good. But it's very hard. It's a big sacrifice to do this. So even if you can only do one thing, take a little better care of yourself. Like I said, spend a little time like just with sitting quietly. Like turn the TV off 10 minutes before you're going to go to bed. Just sit quietly and focus on the breath. Like I said last night, I think just at the entrances of the nostrils, just sit there with it. Or even if you do something meditative, people say the rosary, it's a meditative act. You're repeating, it's like chanting. It's very similar to like monks chanting. If that's your thing, say the rosary for a little while. It can't hurt, really. Flogging someone with your rosary, maybe, like, don't do that, but yeah, or try, just try something. Write down a phone number of your local congressional office. I found out it's really, really difficult to do this Article 5 convention. This is almost impossible. It's going to take the largest political movement in American history to do this thing that I want to do. We need to amend the Constitution. And there is a way we can do it without the federal government involved and without the president involved. And there's nothing they can do, but it's going to take a huge concerted effort among 2/3 of the states to even just call for this thing. And when we have delegates that come together, all we can do is propose amendments. But if the amendments get ratified, and this is where this Congress would probably get in the way, is they could say, well, we can't guarantee that this is, certified correctly. We can't ratify this if we aren't sure of the counts of these votes and things like that. And how are we going to count the votes? Is it going to be one vote per state, which it probably should be? How are we going to know if the majority of the state wants this? And they would obfuscate and cloud things up as much as they possibly could, because what we would need to propose is only maybe 1 or 2 amendments. We can't do like a whole smorgasbord. But a couple of amendments, like no more lobbying in D.C. or anywhere. If you get caught in Rockville, Maryland, at a pizza parlor, like pushing corporate agendas on a politician, you should go to jail, in my opinion. It should be like a felony to do that. It should be a felony offense, immediate jail time, serious felony, to be caught like lobbying politicians. There should not be money in politics. This is a big problem. And also term limits for senators and for Supreme Court justices. That's something we could do. No unlimited term appointments ever again. Those were created originally, at least in the Supreme Court's case, I know from independent research, as an honorary thing. Because back then, when this was happening in the 19th century, in the 1800s, people weren't living as long. So if somebody got a lifetime appointment, they were an experienced judge, they were like 55 years old, well, they might be on the court for 10 or 15 years before they would retire. But now they're on the court for like 30 years. No, come on, you gotta be kidding me. It's not right. It's against the whole idea here, what the idea should be. So, but just try something, guys. I mean, I'm still here with a message of hope. This is 23 minutes. Ye gads. But don't think that this is like easy, that I'm not human or something, that this isn't taking a huge toll. It is. I want to tell this story. I want to tell people how much they can help, how much one person can really do here. But as far as I know, I don't see any likes on these videos on the channel. I need to expand. I need to tap into different digital markets like Instagram and post reels and get a TikTok account and start doing that, which I'm not happy about. You only have to do short videos on there. We'll work on it. But it means even more of this. Ramping it up. I really need a vacation. But we do this 2 more times and we'll be through. If I can handle it, I will. I will do it. I vowed that I will. But so, get some rest. Maybe if you have someone you love close by, tell them you love them today. Maybe tell them perfunctorily normally, but like instead of just, I love you, maybe really go over and just Put your hand on their shoulder or something. Hey, look, it's crazy times. I really, really do love you very much. I don't just say it to say it. I really do. I mean it. Wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. Use your own words. Those are my words. Do what you feel is right. Like the Jedi say. Yeah. Get some rest, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. And we're going to be okay. This is tough. I think us feeling this heat and knowing that this may not get better. It may only get worse in our lifetimes. I'm not trying to be negative, but that's a reality here. It may only get hotter and hotter and hotter until we realize we really have to change. We got to force these oil companies into line. We got to force these, and here I am saying force, and the Jedi doesn't force. Well, at least we have to hope that the circumstances become such that they understand. They wake up. We can't be doing this anymore. I wish we could have the government come in and subsidize the oil companies to roll over to clean energy. I wish we could come in and have them subsidize the automotive companies. Stop spending all this money on all this corrupt nonsense and help these companies. They don't want to just shut down the auto companies or the oil companies. They just help them roll over. Like, why can't we have the government come in and help retrofit combustion engines to run on ethanol, clean burning fuel, or run on vegetable oil or something? Some people, they don't go on the freeway much. Hey, your old whatever you drive, your old pickup truck or something, don't need to take that out on the freeway much. Okay, well, we can give you clean energy and your gas expenses gone. You don't have to pay. Bring it in, we'll change it over. Maybe it can't go 100 miles an hour anymore. Maybe it can only go 60 miles an hour. So what? Think about all the money you save, the thousands of dollars you save in gasoline, and you have peace of mind, no carbon footprint, or much less. That's the kind of thing the government should be helping us with. Instead, they're all just like, look at these peacocks. Look at this woman that I saw in video today, Mitch McConnell's communications director or whatever, and they won't even look this reporter in the eye. They won't even answer a single question about him, just walking right past. Whoever it was posted that on Threads. It's like, ugh, look at how she's dressed. She got all these expensive clothes. It's like, you're obviously doing fine. How dare you? How's Kentucky's economy? Abysmal. How's Kentucky's education? Abysmal. I think it's in like the last 2 states. Definitely the last 5, if I'm not mistaken, in education in this entire country. And they've elected Mitch McConnell again and again for like 35 years, man. They're so afraid of change. They're so afraid of it. They don't even know what's happening. He's enriched himself. Now he's still apparently they're still paying him. Well, he might not even be alive and holding our democracy hostage. That's what this person said on the video I reposted. So you can go check that out. The Road's Unlimited, like I said. That's something you could do. You don't have to do what they did, but you could call. Hey, what's going on? Who talks to the oil companies? Maybe you know somebody. Hey, or you know somebody who's working at a big corporation. Talk to them. Try talking to them about things. What are you doing about this? What's your company doing about this? If your company has company cars, are they electric cars? Is that something we could talk about? Can you put that idea forward? It's like so many people, I can't get involved. I can't get it. Well, you must do what you feel is right. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing my part. So that's 30 minutes. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. All right. Good night, guys. Like Captain America said, I can do this all day. We'll see you tomorrow for day 34. Good night.